Hello and welcome back to Crew 42's coverage of the 2024 River City Open presented by Discraft. We're at Earl Brewer Park in Byron Center, Michigan, and Oakley is your course sponsor for this event at this location. I'm Brian Papa Wolf Frawley, and with me is
Steve Schultz.
Happy to have you, Steve. Great job in round two. Glad you could come back. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Maybe turn on notifications to be the first one in your friend group to see all the great material dropping at Crew 42. Here is a look at your top 10, and we're going to start off with shouting out a one Mr. Nick Robertson, who shot a negative 13 in round two, a 1060 rated overall round, and he had a bogey in there just to mess with you a little bit. So we're looking to see how Nick starts off here in round three.
Ryan Mulder coming in next from St. John, Indiana. Had a good round two at 9 under, looking to improve on that today.
And next we have Sam Smiegel, who had a great round one and a very good round two. He's keeping himself on the lead card. Looking to see what he can do.
Noah from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 11 under yesterday. Great round. Hoping to continue that today.
All right, and that brings us to hole one. This is a par 3, 274-foot shot. Most of the players are going to throw the forehand over this left bush that you see and having it dive back down at the basket, watching out for that out of bounds path that does come into circle one. We'll see how they approach. Wind is up a little bit from yesterday, but not quite as bad.
Hello, everybody.
Day one.
Welcome to the final round of the 2024 River City Open, presented by Discraft.
Director and owner of Great
Here
Lakes
today, we have the final round lead card in the MPO division.
He does look good on the course.
First on the tee,
we gotta say
representing
that,
Aeronautics
with his
Disc
European
Golf,
football
Nick
style right now.
Robertson.
Haircut. And we got Nick starting us off.
This is one of those must-gets. First hole jitters. Kind of a little nerves at the beginning here, especially going into round three. Hoping to start off with a nice birdie.
For sure. I imagine this is played as one of the easiest, if not the easiest hole on the course.
Definitely the easiest.
There we go. So Nick
Next
goes
up,
a little bit deep into the
representing
shrubbery.
Dynamic Disc, Ryan Mulder.
Yeah, two of these first two holes here are must-gets, especially on day three. You want to start out birdie.
You see the first two players both go with the forehand, as previous mentioned. Ryan gets up and over the bush and puts himself right at the bullseye.
That was a nice tree love there that could have caught it and thrown it down and said it went to the basket.
Representing Gateway Disc Sports,
Nobody complains about
Sam
good tree
Smiegel.
love.
That wind was a little tricky out there. You could see discs flopping up and down in that wind, getting some nice air bounces, and it was hard to get consistency out there, but these guys seem to have no problem with it.
Yeah, Sam throwing a forehand as well, looking like it's getting blown back where Nick's ended up as well. Got to be a little nervous there on the first hole as well. You got a little bit of a gallery watching you, and
Noah
he is
Meintsma.
the local favorite, if you will, on lead card. So a lot of people cheering for him.
See those trees whipping around. That really gets tough to want to throw it up high in the air. You can get lost in there and get it blown off course.
For sure. That one did get blown off course a little bit into the shrubbery. He's going to be in circle two and probably obstructed, but hopefully not.
It's definitely not where you want to be starting off on hole one here.
I guess if there's a positive, it didn't go all the way in the stuff, leaving him a little bit of a forehand lane to be able to putt again. That settles down nicely. He's going to have a look at par.
Yeah, that low ceiling approaching the basket's kind of tricky if you're a little further out and need some height on your putt, but apparently no problem there.
Noah got the scoot through that shrubbery, found himself in circle two, and says, "Don't worry about it, I got this putt." Nick with an obstructed circle one look. Don't worry about that, though. He gets one, too.
A couple of nice birdies starting out in hole one.
For sure. Sam for his par. We still haven't seen Ryan putt yet for his birdie. Sam knocks down the par.
I mean, likely 3 out of the 4 in the first group here. It's kind of what you expect in this hole.
Yeah, we're going to move on to hole two. I have a new order with 3 birdies and a par. Hole 2 is a par 3, 312 feet. Most people are going to attack this left to right, either with a forehand or a turnover. The main tree in the fairway gets you to shape that shot. The green is rather fast, so you got to watch the flare depending on how fast you come in. Didn't see a ton of close circle one putts over the weekend here. A lot of edge of circle and circle two putts because of how fast that green is.
Yeah, you have a low ceiling, so you got to get a little bit of distance, but this is another one of those must-get birdies. Just give yourself a look at it, hopefully unobstructed, and you should be able to knock it in.
Shout out to Paragon, who sponsored this hole and made those cool koozies underneath the baskets. Ryan with a forehand approach, coming in nice, got to settle. Ooh, buddy does it.
That is money. Great shot there. That was the exact forehand route you want, and that was a nice soft bounce right to the basket.
We saw Noah go with a turnover in round 2. Let's see if he can get the right height and speed.
It should be good if it parks it right about there.
Yes, sir.
He'll have a nice clean look for his birdie.
Sam going to go with a forehand. He's seen the other 3 shots. Probably a little bit more confident on the forehand if I was going to make a guess, knowing his game.
Looked a little high, but I think that got through clean, and we'll have a look at it if it stays down and eventually settles. That's the danger on this one. It can skip past and get a little long, but as you can see, it's a nice unobstructed putt at it.
Oh, Nick thought that was in. I thought it was in too, but just didn't have the last rotation, if you will, to clear that basket rim. Hopefully Sam saw that. Make sure he puts it right to that chain. Oh, a little bit of a flop.
Yeah, I wonder if that wind's affecting both of those a little bit. You can see the trees blowing around. It kind of knocked both of those down a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Noah put some stank on it, if you will. Make sure it stays in the bucket. And then Ryan's here for his birdie as well. So Noah and Ryan start off with 2 birdies.
Great start for those two. That's what you want to do on these first 2 holes and get out of the gate strong and get to that next hole with some confidence.
You're going to need your confidence here because we got a 382-foot forehand for a lot of the players or turnover backhand for right-handed players. You want to make it down into this gap area. We do have a well-protected green. It is sloping away as well. The mistake is, Steve, pushing where?
Left and long.
Left and long. You don't want to go too thick into that jungle. Hopefully all the players know their shot here and they can execute it.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting hole. It's downhill. You can't really see the basket from the tee. You're hoping to land there and get a good skip, and even if you think you get a great shot, you could be obstructed by one of those trees and not have an angle at it. So it's really a fun hole to play, and I like watching these guys attack this thing.
Ryan forces one over, and it hits a tree and settles down. Noah's going for that backhand route, but
that's the long and left what you didn't want.
We have some long and leftness. Hopefully you can find a lane to get out of there.
Yeah, that turnover's tough because you want to give it some height to let the disc do what it does, but those trees at the low ceiling right ahead of you make it tough to do that.
Nick is showing us how to do it. Can it keep turning? Ooh.
Oof.
Hopefully that stayed on the edge, and he's got a view of circle 2, maybe.
Been there a few times. You can have a good comeback at it. Being long isn't necessarily bad. You get a little flatter angle at the to attack the pin. That looks like a pretty good angle.
Get through.
And I was wrong.
Yeah, looks like it didn't quite fight all the way.
Didn't push far enough down the fairway before it turned. That's the danger of putting too much hyzer on it.
Ryan's going to go for that really high spike, I think, here. And that settles nicely.
Very nicely done.
Didn't waste anything there.
Nope. Tap-in pars, while not ideal, are never a horrible thing.
For sure. This hole played right at about 2.9, so you're not losing too much by parring.
I think that's just the distance off that tee and the trees around the basket and the danger you can get into. It's not a lot of clear lanes right to the green.
Noah found himself a tiny window. Oh, good effort. That kind of looked like a eye trick there. Thought it was in.
Yeah, that camera played tricks on me. I thought that was in too.
It's the sun coming through those leaves, I think. Nick doesn't leave it high enough. We're going to have a lot of pars here, I think.
Yep, and you could see the obstructed shots at it. Nobody was comfortable in their stance putting at it, and I think that kind of maybe affected a few of them a little bit, but we'll tap in for pars.
There we go with Ryan. Ryan's your 2023 United States Amateur Disc Golf Champion Major winner. That's held over on the east side of the Great Disc State in Michigan.
Since 2015, Great Lakes Disc has been supporting players at all levels, from local leagues and events to professional disc golfers on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Visit GreatLakesDisc.com to learn more.
All right, and welcome back to hole 4, the signature hole on the course, in my humble opinion. We've got a Mando coming up on the left. You'll see it on the big tree. The ideal landing zone is right about here. You don't want to go up that hill too much because the footing gets uneven. Gives yourself 2 lanes. The drone is flying the wide lane. This is a 3-able hole for some of our longer arms, but it's all about that first shot and controlling where you land.
Yep, you want to make sure you have a good approach in that second shot. We can see anything from forehand, flexes, hyzers, rollers on that second shot, depending on where you land here off the tee.
There's definitely a lot of options. Ryan's going to go first here. Forces one over. Let's find some stability. Hey, there's Jess, one of the best volunteers in West Michigan. Thanks for being out there, Jess.
That might be a little far on the right side from where he wanted to be, ideal, but we'll see what he can do in the second shot.
I like Noah's angle, just doesn't quite get all the way there.
Kind of want to be up and left around that corner to give yourself an open look, and then you get some options up there. If you're further off to the right up there, kind of cuts you off in what you're able to do.
Ooh, Nick got clipped up a little bit, but then found the perfect landing zone anyways.
And that's ideal. You can't set it out there any better.
That is exactly what you want from the 2 different angles there.
And thanks for chopping down some of those trees on your way. That'll help some of us down the road here.
A little bit of a later release, but we find the fairway for Sam. He's going to have a very long approach around that Mando.
He's got a few strokes to make it up on this hole. Hopefully he can get up and around that corner.
Oh.
That's not ideal. That's where the various trees there can get you. You gotta try to find a nice path and go through it and hit your target. But this hole will bite you if you don't get through clean.
Ryan throws to the open area, so he's going to have a little bit better shot on 3. Sam has to go back down to a knee. Hopefully he can find the angle. And that is tough.
Yeah.
We're shooting 4 from well over 300 still.
Looks like they're having a hard time getting around that horseshoe and getting stuck around the corner.
Noah found his line.
If that stays clean, he'll get up there quite a ways. Didn't see where he landed, but hopefully he got through.
And now we're finally to where Nick's drive landed. He takes the inside route.
Feels like forever since he's thrown. We've seen a lot of shots since then. That's how good that drive was.
For sure. And he gets the cameraman to turn around a little bit.
And that's as ideal as you can get. We'll have a look for 3 up there.
Have a long eagle bid. Here comes Ryan. He's throwing 3 right now.
You can't really see the basket unless you get up over that hill, kind of get on your tiptoes there, but you just got to pick a line and be confident with it.
And that hits one of those bigger trees and rolls out, but he'll be able to have an opportunity to throw his 4th shot to the circle at least.
Yeah, it does open up, but not until you get towards the basket. So it's there's a variety of lines you can choose from to get up there, and whether you're confident in the forehand or backhand, you got to get around one of them.
And Sam gets a roller to come out at least.
Still be a good 100 feet out or so.
Alright, here's where Noah's 2nd shot landed.
You can see the basket up there. He's got a nice straight shot right at it.
Scoot, scoot, scoot.
Get up.
Alright.
Nicely done.
That's a 10-ish foot putt for a 4. That's not bad, friends.
This is kind of an all or nothing hole where you can go for it and try to get there in 2 and get a nice eagle putt, or sometimes get caught up in the weeds and trees back there and you're scrambling for your par.
Is he throwing a forehand roller or just a chop here? Looks like a chop.
It's a little flex coming up to it.
Yep. Gotta settle.
A little bit of a skip, but he'll have a good look at it. think there were a couple eagles on this throughout the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And I had heard out in the course, I never saw, but I heard there was a tap-in eagle, which would be really interesting.
I think it was in round 1, if I remember correctly. And it was our man on this card, Sam Smiegel.
Yeah, that's a fun eagle to get, and that'll really boost you up, especially if you miss one of those birdies in the first couple holes and you feel like you made a stroke on everybody.
Noah gets that birdie. That's got to feel good. He knows that there was a par, a bogey, and, you know, some other things going on the card. So he got the, if you will, business-like birdie, threw it to where he wanted to, threw it to where he wanted to, threw it to where he wanted to, and tapped in.
It's a great hole. It's the way you play it.
Hole 5 is a par 4, 667-foot, slight uphill the whole way. Low ceiling shot. You want to kind of pick your line between those two big trees here, settling out your drive on the left somewhere around here. You'll see a lot of right-handed players throw a forehand into the green because of the way that the green slopes. It is a fast green if you hit the dirt and a slow green if you hit the grass. So it's kind of a roll of the dice on your approach shot.
And at a third level of challenge, there's a bunch of roots up there for some of those trees too that if you come in the wrong angle can hit and roll away too. So that it's a really fun hole. Kind of test a couple different varieties of shots, and that is a nice start.
Yeah, I mean, he hit a tree, but he fell exactly where you want to fall. He's going to be a little bit by the red tee pad, so he's definitely can still reach it.
Not a super long hole, especially if your drive gets through mostly clean. You can still come in at that second shot pretty easily.
And that's what you want to see. That is a great shot from Nick.
Ideal. Just a great tee shot. It's hard to push it out there the distance, keeping it low and getting a good bounce up there. That grass tends to grab stuff, so if you can get out there and have a nice easy second, that's what you want.
Ryan takes a kick towards 4's fairway. It's going to be interesting to see his line. He's going to have more thicker trees in the way. He might be able to throw a wider forehand. And Sam puts a rip on it. And he stays out of the long stuff. He'll have a good look as well.
Yep. Far enough up there where you should have a nice little flick at the green and hopefully be unobstructed.
All right. Ryan is not going forehand, going backhand.
Hopefully he picks a good line and it stays clean.
Still coming. And sit. That's that fast green we talked about.
Yep, didn't catch the grass or the tree root. Got the little bit of dirt there, a nice little skip away. That's going to be a tough putt. It's kind of uphill from there. He has kind of a backdrop if he wants to run it. It shouldn't be too far past, but it's still longer than he wanted for his third.
Yeah, I imagine with that being a birdie putt, he'll run it with that backdrop. Noah throws the forehand, coming in wide to approach that slanted green, and puts on a show. That's how you play the hole, folks.
That is just funny. That's what you want to do. And that thing had some skip on it. It took the perfect bounce and settled right near the bullseye.
Got a slide.
It looks a little straighter than he wanted, but got some tree love towards the hole there. That's a pretty nice second shot too.
You got good pace on it.
It's kind of hard to judge that when you're coming in. You can see the trees ahead of him, how he's got to keep that low, but yet put the brakes on somehow. So the old backspin on the golf balls, what you're looking at for these approaches.
Yeah, and Nick lands in circle one. Might have slid to circle one edge, a little outside. Ryan's got that birdie putt we were talking about. Yeah, that's a safe background though. Tap in 4.
He's not going to be happy with that. Looked like he gave it a run, and that's just one he wanted, but it was a good effort at it.
And judging by his reaction, that did not go in.
He is not running towards the basket.
No.
My guess is that dropped.
Sam to get a birdie. That's got to feel good after the bogey on 4.
It's a good comeback after that.
Yep.
I always like to see him bounce back and grab one.
Noah is 4 for his first 5. Letting the lead card know he came to play on Championship Sunday.
It's a great start. Hopefully he can use the momentum, keep going in the next couple holes.
Here we go for hole 6. It is the shortest par 4 on the course at 579. We've got OB on the right the whole way down. We've got OB on the left the whole way down. We got trees in the fairway. We've got unfortunate kicks, some silly rolls, and a big old hill as your backstop to run your really long two if you want. I'm excited.
This is one of my favorite holes in the course. If you can get off the tee here, it sets up for a pretty good approach at a birdie. But as you can see, you got to go through those two trees and just hope you don't get a kick like you mentioned out into the OB.
And we're happily showing the green dish. There we go.
Yep, that's ideal. You just want to be up in front of that other tee pad there, and it gives you a great look at it.
They make it look so easy.
It is definitely a guarded shot, and they are carving that up.
Yep, they're just saying, this is exactly where you wanted us to land? Okay, we'll throw it right there.
Go put your disc out exactly where you wanted it, and it's 2 for 2.
We might have 3 for 3. Might even have a better 3 for 3.
That gets the skip. That's going to be up there.
Yeah,
wow,
great shot from Nick.
He's going to have a really short approach at it. The only problem with getting that far up the fairway is you might have to curve it around some of those trees a little bit quicker, but he'll take that any day.
It's a little high.
I think he got through that.
He did. Ends up being right where you want to be. 4 perfect drives.
That is lead card material right there. Those guys all just carved that up, making it look easy.
Here you go with lots of options. Forehand right at it. Backhand. See how they go.
The right side, it plays a little easier, I think, because the trees on the left are a little staggered. There's a little more room, and you can skip it up there. The only danger, like you mentioned before, was getting some unlucky bounces off those trees and maybe finding some OB.
Looks like the wind's picking up a bit.
It's far enough left where it's almost a straight shot on that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, Sam knew exactly what to do there. Once you cross this hill that's right behind the basket, that's when the wind for the whole entire course starts to pick up for the rest of the round. So you do feel it as you're coming up this fairway for sure. And Ryan clips a tree, but he's still going to have a pretty safe birdie look.
Yep. Yeah, as you mentioned, you're kind of in the woods the first few holes. That's why those first few birdies are almost must-gets, and you feel like if you don't get them, you're going to be in trouble. Because once you hit the open air, you never know where that disc is going. That's a little unfortunate pull.
Yeah, he got the pull to the right and then the kick to the left, so long birdie look here. It's going to be a tap-in par for Nick.
It's tough with that tee shot. You wanna be there after 2, but that sometimes happens when you're getting that far up and trying to get around some trees. You find some cabbage up there.
Yeah, and after this hole, we're a third through the final round, and that is unfortunate. No stick for Ryan. Noah to take the lead, and he does. He's the first one to minus 22, at least on our screen. But as we get to the 7th hole, we have a chase card killer. Someone that is on the hole ahead of us has birdied every hole. Stay tuned to find out more.
Can't wait.
Super exciting stuff. As we get to hole 7, maybe one of the most difficult holes in the course, as with the OBs. That island of trees to your left is OB. The whole right side all the way to circle 2 is OB. The left side fairway into hole 8 is OB. And we have a guarded green as well. This one played probably over par for most of the players. Not a ton of birdies coming in.
Yeah, hole number 7 is down there in the bottom third. It's definitely one of the harder holes. Played almost exactly even par.
Man, I was so close to being right.
Not bad.
Noah shows us exactly where you want to throw the drive, though. Hits the gap perfectly. Turns the cameraman around. That was picture perfect.
He's just having a great start to his round. Man, can he throw a disc?
Yes, he can. He spins them for sure. Sam leaking right. Come on, fight, baby.
Those trees that hang over are just mean. They will throw discs down, and oftentimes you don't know which way they're going to go. I've seen them kick right, kick left, hang up there. That just branch overhanging that right where your line is a killer. Or you can just go past it.
Yeah. Nick and Noah are like, here you go. Let's just go play that open spot called the fairway.
I don't know what that's like at this hole, so That's 2 great drives on that. It's hard to push that far, especially if it's windy up here. It can throw it one way or the other. And the clump of trees in the middle, some people used to go through them, but now that they're OB, it's a little tighter, and you don't want to go that way anymore.
For sure. So we see our first place and our second place currently players all are out in the fairway pushing each other. Quite the battle going on hole 7 here. Sam throwing his 3rd shot. He did go out of bounds.
Looks to be a really good approach from the back as far as he was.
And yeah, you know what? I think I stand corrected. He might not have been out of bounds. Let's see what the score says. Here comes Ryan, the approach.
This is a fun shot. You got to get high enough to get over those bushes, trees right in front of you, but low enough to stay under those trees towards the green, and it really does block it pretty well from getting close.
And it blocked it down to about circle's edge.
And
Nick's going low and tight, yeah.
That's a fun shot. You got to hit your line perfectly in order to get it up there, and as you saw, just missed it.
As a reminder, that OB does end right about the circle 2 spot on the right side. Noah going under.
Whoa, that's an unusual route, but whoa, did that pay off.
Wow.
Nice shot.
Uses that long grass to slow down that forceful approach.
I'm not sure I've seen anybody go between them like that before. That was a great creative shot.
Nick gives it a healthy run.
That looked good from here. I thought that was going to be it. I was waiting for him to run that down.
Here's Ryan at that edge of circle. And unfortunately ramps off the left side.
It looked good out of his hands. Just a little too much left.
Oh, and Sam did all that work to get up there and unfortunately doesn't get to complete that. There's Ryan with a challenging putt under the log from the knee.
I wonder if that tree got in Sam's head a little bit and he was trying to stay around that. Might have affected his putt a little.
And there's Noah just casually 6th for the first 7.
I tell you what, he's making this look easy. He's carving this course up. It's healthy to stay in the fairways and, land in circle 1, and it makes it look a lot easier.
So as we were saying, there's a gentleman who's birdied the first 7 holes. This is Austin Bates. He is teeing off on hole 11, and he makes both the Mandos and lands about circle 1, just inside, and completes the birdie. So through 11 holes, we got Austin at -10 on the round. So that is pretty good.
Almost can't do it any better than that.
For sure. But we're still back out here on hole 8. It is a par 3, 420 feet up. We got the OB line on the left. The wind is the scariest part about this shot. We've seen some great drives end up 80 feet right or 80 feet short because of the way the wind bounces you. Most of the players on this card can reach that. Most of the players in the division can. Should be a hole that they birdie.
Yeah, this hole gets a little bit long when that wind picks up, and that 420 can sometimes feel like 460, depending on which way it's blowing. Usually it's a left to right here. Sometimes it swirls. You never know. It can change from person to person who's throwing.
Oh, look at that. At the end, you saw the wind and the stability. It just kept pulling it left. If you're wondering why we don't have a green shot right now, that's because the green cameraman is sprinting around the course, trying to catch some action from the other cards as well to keep us updated here in this final round.
That's the danger of going right on that. That wind can get under that lip if you have any kind of anhyzer on it and just keep pushing it that way. This hole played middle as far as average goes, but these guys are not really quite finding C1 here.
Yep, it is later in the day. The wind has picked up a bit. You see Nick throwing the forehand approach here. Ooh!
Almost drops it in.
Almost puts it in from well outside 100.
That was a nice little approach. Stopped it, didn't roll away. Said, "I'll thank you very much for that bullseye," and tap in par.
Noah's trying to spin one up there from deep circle 2.
It is more uphill than it might look, and you got a little bit of a backdrop there if you want to run it. Feel safe trying to get the birdie too here. Couple good throws at it. Looks like we're going to have a bunch of tap-in pars here.
Maybe Ryan will prove you wrong.
I was trying to reverse jinx that. It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't. It's a good try, though. We're going to clean some pars up, though. Everyone doing a little tap-tap-a-rooski. Well, Nick got to get the disc all the way out before he can proceed. Noah ends up being 6 down through his first 8. Sam is 1 down, but just have a feeling he's about to catch some speed, maybe. Ryan taps that par in, too.
You know, that feels like one of those must-gets because it's just a straight long shot. But if your card mates are all parring it, you don't feel like you've lost anything to that.
Yeah, and speaking of must-gets, we got a par 3 that's under 290, and the big danger here is it's just at the edge of that hill, and that hill is much longer and much steeper than that camera showed. So we'll see a mixture of different shot selections here. Noah's going with a traditional backhand, but it's way in the air. That is actually going to end up quite short left.
Yeah, a little nose up, little wind will stall that one down before it gets to the target where you want to go. It's not a bad idea to throw it out high and wide and let it drop soft. You don't want to land on an edge and end up rolling down that hill long. So being short isn't horrible, except for it leaves you with a tough putt.
And that is the danger of that skip shot, that flare, if you will. So unfortunately, Sam's going to be in circles too. Nick kept his a lot lower. Looking for a little ground play. That's going to leave him still with a not fun putt.
Well, I certainly, if you're up towards the lead, you have a decision to make if you want to run that or not.
Well, I'll tell you, when I'm playing Masters, I'll lay that up. But these guys are playing for a little bit more than some plastic frisbees. Ryan got the best curl towards the basket out of all of them. So we'll see how this plays out.
This is one of those putts where I dread. I would have definitely laid this up, but these guys are obviously going to let it go.
Noah says, don't worry about it.
Well, that's why I'm a professional.
I want to go 7 for my first 9. We've got the Disc Golf Threads replay. Thanks for sponsoring this Disc Golf Threads. And here we go from the other angle. Noah lining it up, waving it in the air like you just don't care.
And that was dead center chains.
Man, that is a clinic.
Beautiful putt.
That's how to do it, folks.
That's why these guys get paid to do this.
Exactly. And now somebody else has to putt, which is always a little challenging.
now you got another one of those putts coming up and thinking, boy, he made it. I should probably be able to do that too, right?
All right, Nick. Here we go. You got this, buddy.
And
Quick settle. All right. That's, if you're going to miss, have it miss right there.
That basket, probably from where he was standing, was almost below his feet. So
for sure.
That's a tough putt at. No shock that he went a little high.
And unfortunately, Sam went a little high as well. It's going to leave Ryan with a birdie putt. Ryan looking to go 3 down on the front 9. Oh.
A little left.
A little left, a little hard maybe.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He had a straight shot at it. Looked like he was good out of his hands. Just a little hyzer to the left and didn't fall in.
So after 9 holes here on our featured card, lead card, we've got Noah Meintsma at -24, Nick Robertson at -21, and Ryan Mulder at -21, and Sam Smiegel at -20. We do know that Austin Bates is through 11 holes, and he's at -26. So what's going to happen on the back 9? Come back and find out. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks, Steve, for being here. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was great. Can't wait to see the back 9.
Yeah, heck yeah. It's going to be exciting. Thanks to our friends who have the time to donate at patreon.com. Crew 42. Until next time, keep it in the fairway.